Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, back on F1 2020 as always, and we are back once again with some 25% races. We have two today in this race, starting with Mexico, and of course, with the preset setup, starting last with the custom grid editor. And let's get into this because I thought this was a couple of good, or very, very good races that I did. So as the lights go, 4 lights, 5 lights here, and as they go out now, electing to start on the mediums, the alternate strategy as always in these lobbies, and we are just gonna let everyone sort themselves out going into turn 1.
AI apparently, good.
And someone is just pausing going into turn 1, but not using any of the overtake, the ERS, but just try to spot a gap on the outside. It's very, very hard to pick a side, particularly through these few corners. It can really, really get messy, but you can see we've actually gained 4 positions. Now going between 3 cars as well, going up into P13, thinking back around the outside. The guy is actually ghosting, and we have had, I thought they would go ghost as well, but are we going to go for the switchback, making a little bit of contact, but going into the right hand? And what position are we going to come into? Are we going to get P11, try and get the traction? Should be able to, and we go into P11. So that's 9 positions by really just being patient, not being aggressive or anything at all, but just knowing when to be aggressive and when to pick your moment, which I think is the point of this video here today, which you will start to see as we're thinking about maybe go down the inside here, as we do, of Choco. Very, very fast driver, leaving some room on the exit, so some nice racing here. Go around the outside of this corner, trying to get the traction down. Let's see if we use the overtake here, which I think we are, because we're trying to get the slipstream of the Magma Beast, who already has a 3-second time penalty. A little bit of contact going down this main straight. We are using the preset 4, so everyone should be using the same setup as well, but the slipstream effect definitely seems to be increased when you use these setups and just get the inside for the right hander. And now we're into P9, so 11 positions gained on this first lap. An absolute perfect start. And in these lobbies, I always try and put the really, really fast people at the back, the people I know about. But there was a couple of drivers who actually slipped through the net, and you will see towards the end of this race here of who those drivers actually are, as we're trying to get in amongst the traffic again. Let's see, do we go for an overtake into this right-hander? Yes, we do. Nice and committed, staying within the track limits as well. And that takes 2 to tango. Really, really had to have the respect of that driver there. So fair play to him for allowing that to happen. I know myself would probably not want to be overtaken going to there. So again, massive fair play to him. And coming up, you can see Toast and Harvey Allen, fast driver, but it is the Smurton, or Smurfin, if I can read it correctly,
is
going to be
so
on the softs, going very, very fast. You can see here, we're not electing to use the overtake buttons. This is another moment. I can see his red light was flashing. I knew with the slipstream power that I should have enough speed to go down the straight, and that is one of the moments where it's very, very key to know when to deploy the power, when to not deploy the power, because around this circuit, it is absolutely crucial to your race, because it's very, very hard to regain the ERS around this circuit, as we're coming up to grounding now. So up into P7, Choco is trying to follow me through. Let's see, do we get the traction coming through here? No, we don't. Going through this fast left-hander, I really, really do love the sequence of corners. Quite similar-ish to Suzuka, maybe. That's probably an absolutely horrible comparison. We have the DRS, but we decide to turn it off because this length of straight is just not quite long enough. So we're going to wait for the main straight here. He should be out of the DRS zone of the car up ahead. And once again, this is just where you're just thinking a little bit ahead, not using the battery or anything at all, because although you might be losing a bit of time, you may think that you're not overtaking him early enough. Just having that extra 10 or 20% battery really, really negates that disadvantage that you just suffered. You can see we didn't have to use any going down this main straight because he didn't have the DRS on the car up ahead. And we're going to have the DRS on the next corner. And the key was to really make sure I caught the next Tatty, who's always in my lobbies, making sure I catch him as well. Now I'm actually using the overtake button because I was quite far back, but then turning it off at the right time. So just trying to overtake and progress as efficiently as possible. Making a little bit of contact there. That was mainly, I think that was my error there. Should have left a little bit more room to the left hand side. Go use the overtake button once again here. Don't think it's going to be that much of a simple move. Going to here, we just about get the move done. No lockups needed. And now we're into P5. And you can see D Smurfin is 7.4 seconds ahead. He actually just gets a time penalty just as I say that. But he's doing quite a good pace on the softs here. So we're just making sure we're trying to catch people at the right time, overtaking them as efficiently as possible. So overtaking them without compromising or using as much energy as possible. If you can do that in league races, then that is the key. It really is. And that doesn't just go for the overtake button. As you can see, once again, not overtaking. He's being very, very defensive into here. But although we're losing time, and we could have used the overtake button and the DRS, we would have not gained the time or gained the battery back. Just the advantage of just having that later in the race is just crucial. As you can see, Harvey Allen has now pitted, and once again, take a shot every time I say that. We're not using the overtake button going down the straight, and you can see we hardly used it, but we're still lingering on that 50% mark. So that just shows how punishing it is, as D Smurfin is now 9.5 seconds ahead. So the softs are still running quite nicely in this race here. And you can see Toads up ahead. They do have
leaders are on softs.
3-second time penalty. So as we're coming towards the end of lap 8, you can see pace is very, very strong here, as the leaders have now pitted. I think Toads pitted on the previous lap. The Smurfin now pits here, and you're about to hear what I'm saying.
It's going to be hard to catch these guys, actually. It's not going to be easy at all.
So, of course, I really want to try and win on track as much as possible. But you can see we've saved a really good amount of the ERS here. You can see the pit window has now opened for the softs, and you can see Choco has pitted that before me. You can see coming into the pits, we've managed to still save quite a lot of the ERS. And you might be thinking, why have you not used it here? Right. You're about to see how much of battery I'm actually going to have on the exit of the pits, because around this circuit again, having battery is absolutely crucial, as D Smurfin has already gone past us. So he has got a little bit of an undercut on those fresh mediums as well. But the soft tyres are absolutely insane. And on the exit of the pits, we're seeing we're 95%. And we've actually not been undercutted by Choco either. So this is about to show how powerful the softs and the battery power actually is. You can see the gap up ahead is 3.5 seconds to Toads and about 3.6 to Harvey. We're going to stay aboard this lap, and you'll just see how quickly this gap just comes down here. See, going through the first sector as well, you can see already we've gained about about half a second already here. But it's going through the fast section of the track. This is the part where we are going to gain the most. And softs are a very good tyre, but you have to really make the most of them, because towards the end of the race, the mediums will start to bounce out slowly but surely. But you can just see going through here the amount of time we have gained. We've got a purple middle sector. Still haven't used much of the battery, because I want to make sure I try and catch him just as we hit this detection point. As I think we're about to see, we are quite comfortably within this detection point. Now I'm going to use the overtake button, the power that I have saved here, and going across line. Choco sets so fast as that. He picked it up before me. We're turning it off once again here, because he's not going to fight this too hard. And you can see how quickly the battery does diminish around this circuit. That's why you have to be so careful of it. And we're going to have the DRS here. Don't think we're going to be quite close enough for a move into this corner. But you can see again, having 70% of the battery with D Smurfin 7.5 seconds up the road. A purple first sector. But you're about to see the grip and the traction that you're going to get from these tyres. So on the exit here, the traction is just going to be absolutely insane. Does he go defensive? Yes, he does. So what are we going to do? We're going to go round the outside into left hand to get the inside for the right. And just with the tyre compound, the difference in grip, you're able to now go flat out for this right and left. It's just absolutely insane and just so satisfying as well to drive on. However, as I said, these softs are at their peak performance for about 5 to 6 laps. And then after that, they actually do start to drop off with the mediums and then start to become a very consistent tyre. So 6.7 gap.
Yeah, I don't want to get just in 3 seconds. I want to try and catch him.
And you can see here, just having that mindset that although he's got a penalty, I just want to try and catch him as well. So you can see on the next lap, we gained about 1 second. So not a massive amount here. You can see on the next lap again, and that another 1.3 seconds here. So the gap is coming down, but the advantage is negating. You can see about another second once again. Just trying to conserve the battery as much as I possibly can, because one thing about saving the battery is not just about power, it's about not generating wheel spin, because the faster you go, the more you kill your tyres as well, which is sometimes it's always a good idea to try and save it as late as possible when everyone else's tyres are dead and yours are relatively fresh. You actually get more benefit from using the ERS at the end of the race, kind of like what I did at TSRL Monza if you watched that race. But you can see on this last lap we did get within the DS zone eventually. We actually managed to drop Choco from our DRS here, but we're not going to be close enough. D Smurfman has had a little trip on the track limits. You can see he has accumulated a fair amount of penalties now, and I don't think we have got a single warning in this race, in fact, here. But GG to him. He had a very good pace, but I was very happy with my drive. Coming across the line.
Nice.
End up winning this race with no warnings and just showing efficient use of the battery and race management. But we are about to move on to an ad. If you need any tips for a theory test, make sure you check this out now, because hopefully it will help you out a lot.
Hello gamers, here's something you need to know. In the real world, cars are made out of real steel, and when you crash, it will hurt. But I can help you avoid this with my Driving Theory Test app. The key features are personalized training plans, mock tests, and hazard perception videos. There are also a couple of simple games. They're not very good, but this is Driving Theory. It's boring.
So I hope you found that useful. Did my theory test over 10 years ago, and believe me, it's not a test you want to be doing twice. But we move on to China. We've got 5 lights here, and as they go out, exactly the same again, trying to put the fast people at the back, using alternate strategy. Everyone is on the same setup. So we're just going to let everyone do their thing. Very similar to Mexico. Smasher is in this lobby as well, so a very fast driver. I think he forgot to put on his preset setup 4 and change tyres. Definitely new to these zombies, I think. So, but we're making up a couple of positions already as we're almost losing the car here. And
how on earth did I save that?
How on earth indeed did I save that? I have no idea. I think it's maybe because of my force feedback settings.
How on earth did I save that?
Have increased them recently, which I think definitely has contributed to some very good performances. But we're still with P18 here, and we're just going again. The same mindset, just get through the race and just pick people off without using as much energy as possible. But there is no damage here. Was just checking that, but I don't think I have damage set on anyway. We're just going to let everyone sort themselves out and go for the ultimate switchback. So how many positions are we going to make up going through it here? We made up about 4 or 5 positions. Now we have some slipstream here. Now we're going to use the overtake button once again. Let's see how much straight line speed. And we've got some very good straight line speed. Although everyone should be using the same. But we're going to go around the outside of the Smurfin, who is very fast at Mexico. And we have pretty much made up 7 places or 6 or 7 places in the space of a few corners here. As we get our first track limit warning. Quite harsh to track limits, in fact, going around the circuit. So a very good start. into P11 from last on the grid here. And now we're just going again, just try and conserve the battery and make as many overtakes as possible without using as much power as possible. But as I say that, you do have to use it on some occasions, trying to get some cars between myself and the likes of Smasher, and going down the inside, a very, very clean move into the hairpin in the end. And now we're already into the top 10 positions here. But I think we do have a few people heading very, very fast as someone has just completely lost it. We're going to go around the outside here into P8 now. So very, very good progress. But on the exit here, that is my second warning. And one more, that'll be a 3-second time penalty. So
Can't afford to get another warning.
And as I said, cannot afford to get another warning. And that's a worst nightmare for a league race. You really don't want to be getting 2 warnings because someone has gone very, very wide here. Up into P7, just defending from Suchi behind. As I always say, these races I feel really, really help me in the league race in terms of mainly just race management with the ERS, the tyres and warnings. The way I practice for a race is to ensure I don't get any warnings. And I'm in this scenario now where I have 2. And this is a really, really good test for me to see if I can keep my nerve and composure and try and deliver a good pace whilst being under the pressure of not to get any more warnings to get a penalty. So I feel these kind of scenarios really, really do help me for when it really, really does matter in a league race.
Why is this white thing flashing on my screen?
And I think that there is a glitch in this game where there's just a flash of white, which sometimes keeps occurring. But again, we're using the battery power. It seems to be a good move. And then we're going to try and go down the inside of Sam Cole as well. Just about leaving enough room, getting the elbows out very, very slightly. But now we're up into P5 and we have WR Mulder ahead of me, who's a very, very fast driver, a regular league racer himself. And I just have to ensure I get within this 1 second window at the detection point, which is in kind of an awkward position. So you can see at the moment we are just 1,000th away. And going into this corner, I'm just trying to carry as much speed as possible to get the detection point here. But we are 1,000th away, which always seems to be the case. When I'm league racing as well, it always seems to be that I'm just fractionally out. It's just so hard to see mid-corner. And you can hear I'm saying there, I don't have the DRS. So just got to make sure I get within that next lap. But coming through into here, once again, on the very next lap, let's see what the gap is. It's 1,000th of a second again. And I don't get the DRS, so pretty frustrating. I was just trying to save my ERS in that lap, and that's sometimes a mistake I make. Is sometimes I save too much ERS when I need to use it to get within someone's DRS. That's something I definitely need to improve on. But the good thing is at least that we do have a lot of battery power, and then we did eventually get within the DRS zone of the cars up ahead. So just try and stay with these guys as close as possible, making sure I don't get any more warnings here, and just keeping an eye when the pit window is going to be released, because I haven't really done China for a while, and I don't think I've done one at 25% on an alternate strategy as well. So we're going to try and line this guy up, Bayliss as well, try and do the same thing using the overtake button. This seems to be my favorite corner to overtake. In fact, we're going to go down the inside once again, leaving some room on the exit, just getting the elbows out just to make sure he doesn't have the good traction, and we get the move done into P4. So race is going very, very well so far, but we do have the likes of Mulder up ahead, who seems to be very quick, as Top Harrison, the leading soft runner, has now pitted. So he might get a slight undercut on us here, but it's good to know that the tyres can go 6 to 7 laps. So you can see on the exit of the very, very long right-hander, going down one of the longest straights in Formula 1. You can see these two are battling away. I had a quick look at my tyres, and I decided to go for the undercut of box this lap. So I was really hoping that these guys would not, in fact, pit. I was expecting them to maybe pit. I didn't think they'd want to be doing it this late, but they both continue. So I'm just going to take this advantage, going to the pits, and see how much of an undercut I get. And it'll be interesting to see how close Top Harrison was, because he did do the fastest lap of the race, and the softs seem to have a good pace as well, as we are not getting held. So tied that and just came out just ahead of another car as well. So very, very good timing. Very fortunate in the pits on that occasion. And let's see, Top Harrison sets the fastest lap of the race, and he does come back out ahead of us. And this isn't too bad, because although on the softs it's going to be much, much faster than him, he's actually going to be faster than the likes of Mulder.
Smasher, we've actually overcutted him.
And the other guy ahead, as Smasher, I think, has actually left the race. In fact, I'm not sure what happened to him. So I'm just going to save all of my ERS once again. I will be faster on this compound of tyres. But again, I wasn't too concerned, because I know the softs can go a reasonable distance, and he's going to be faster. His red light is flashing, so not having to use that much of the ERS, just giving it a little boost just to try and maximize the effect of the undercut on the likes of Mulder here, because they will be on fresher tyres, and around here fresher tyres is a fairly good advantage going towards the end of the race. So going through this corner, let's see how far away they are from myself as we cross the line. Do a purple last sector. They're coming out of the pits now. They were ahead, and we do have an undercut, a fairly substantial undercut. But the key thing is that they are actually behind Top Harrison. So I've got to try and maximize this as much as I possibly can here. Trying to use the overtake button, just give myself a little boost, try and give myself as much breathing room as possible. But I think Mulder is already going to overtake him going into his hairpin, which he is. So that means the advantage has been reduced already. And with these fresher tyres, I know Mulder is probably going to be closing in, so I'm not going to be using that much of the ERS. We do set the fastest lap, but I know in the very next lap that he's probably going to be pushing to get within this DRS zone, which I think he has done so already successfully. So in this position here, I know a lot of people would be tempted to try and break the DRS, but I know the fresher tyres and I know the pace of Mulder that's going to be very, very hard to do. So I'm really just going to try and conserve my tyres to try and preserve as much life as possible for the last couple of laps, and to try and save the ERS, because I know in his position that he will probably want to be overtaking me on the penultimate lap or the last lap, not any of the laps before. So as we get onto penultimate lap, I've been able to save a lot of the ERS because he wasn't really pushing to overtake me on the previous lap. So it's really the case of just understanding of what your opponent is going to be doing. And I knew this is the point where he would be trying to attack me. So he's fairly close here. I know he's using the overtake button as well, and you can see he's closing and closing, but he's not going to be quite close enough. So I had to use quite a bit of the battery here just to negate that advantage. I know that he probably has a slightly more ERS than me at this stage. Very likely that he probably turned it off halfway down this straight to try and drain mine. But the good thing is we are starting this lap with around 35% of the ERS here, and another dirty air coming onto that back straight is fairly significant. So we managed to save our ERS pretty nicely. The undercut had worked because it was going to be very hard to overtake him. Otherwise, it would have just been too close to call. But on this last lap, there's no real overtaking place he can do until this last straight. So I'm just going to try and keep my tyres as healthy as possible, try and save as much ERS as I can, and going for this long left-hander, trying not to take too much life out of the tyres here, keeping it in standard, so not keeping it rich, just to try and lower the wheel spin. That coming up here, it's crucial that I get a very good exit coming off here and try and maximise the effect of the dirty air. So coming through into here, this is the crucial traction zone, so try and carry that speed, but as we do a little bit of a lock-up into the right-hander, this is what I have to try and carry as much speed as I possibly can and try and get in the ERS as early as I can here. So now, so he is definitely closer than he was on the last lap, but the power of the overtake button is very big as someone is trying to disrupt the race, Not gonna happen with the Ghost, but he's gonna go around the outside. Let's see if we outbreak him. See who breaks first here, as we just about keep it on the track here. Definitely getting our elbows out. We're going side by side. Once again, not quite able to go around the outside of that corner, and we're going to come across the line to win this race. GG, very intense race in the end there, and I think that was just a good decision making, good management with the ERS, and that's what wins you races at times. It's not always about pure speed, it's about how you think ahead into a race, and I think it's very, very important in this game to do that. So once again, thank you so much for the support on my videos on my channel. Make sure you check out the app that we displayed earlier with your theory tests. Very, very useful. And again, make sure you check out my Tears Road stream, which will be this Friday. Thank you so much, and I will catch you soon. Peace.